guys about, is hope a dangerous emotion, or is this something that really serves us? So I'm going to take a moment to share this out, and I'm going to ask you guys to do the same. Anybody that you think could benefit from a discussion on hope would be fantastic to share this with, because we want people to feel connected, supported, loved, especially right now during this difficult time. And for those of you who are not accustomed to returning to clarity or don't know us, my name is Laura Mazzotta, and I'm the Akashic therapist. And I guide therapists, coaches, and healers with any level of chronic dis-ease. And that could be negativity, pain, doubt, illness, to a space of ease, energy, and confidence in the Akashic records. And Raelin, would you like to introduce yourself, my friend?
Yes, I'm Raelin Saindon, and I am the channel of We Are We Consciousness. I am a spiritual teacher and healing guide, and I work with individuals who have trauma in their backgrounds, but who are also looking to become more fully aware and fully realized along the spiritually awakened path. So that's me. That's me.
Yay. So one more share here and then I'm done. Okay. So please say hello if you guys are hopping on. One of the issues with the BeLive platform lately has been difficulty seeing comments. So I want to just make sure that people are here with us, that they can see us. And you can do that either by sending some hearts or some likes across the screen, or just saying, hey, and let us know where you're tuning in from. Okay?
Please.
So yes, do it. Tell us where you're tuning in from. So this is a show that,
mandala earrings on.
So beautiful. If you guys have not seen Raelin's mandalas, please check out Radiant Healing Creations, and she can put that in the link for you.
Oh, yeah.
So that you can check out her fabulous mandalas.
She also really loves them.
Teaches them too. You just teach people how to do them.
I do.
So,
love it.
So we do this show every other week. Well, actually, then we started doing it every week, and then I got sick. And hi, Kathy. So we try to do it every week as much as we can.
Yes.
And we're talking about these issues that present that might interfere with clarity on our spiritual path. And we want to help you guys gain clarity on your spiritual path, because it can be a confusing process. It can be a difficult process. It can be an isolating process for a temporary period of time. So we want to bring topics to you that really fuel that path and answer some of those questions. So please feel free at any time to ask us questions about that topic, or to send us private messages if you say, hey, I want you guys to do a show on this because this is something I really need to explore. We are happy to oblige. So Today we are going to be talking about hope. So I don't know if any of you follow Oprah and Deepak, but they have 21-day meditation challenges that they do on kind of a rotating basis. And right now they're offering a free one again. I think we're on day, I don't even know, 14?
16, I think. Yeah.
And this is a great opportunity because they are doing this on hope right now. So this is obviously something that a lot of people are needing globally, given the pandemic and this lack of safety and security that people are feeling in the world. Mm-hmm. And this is an emotion that used to be kind of, I guess, controversial for me, because I used to tell people that hope is a dangerous emotion. I used to say that all the time. Mm-hmm. And I got to the point where I decided, I'm just choosing not to hope. Right. Because for me, what it felt like was every time I hope, I then get disappointed.
Right.
Right. And I think the important piece here to discuss is the difference between being able to hope without expectation.
Yeah.
Versus I'm hoping for something, but then I also expect it to come to pass.
Right.
Like, just because I hope for something doesn't mean, boom, I've snapped my fingers and it's going to appear in my reality, you know?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that, Raelin? What's been your experience with it?
You know, I agree. Especially given my early experiences and conditioning, you know, and ours seem to be pretty parallel, but it was from a standpoint, I held the view that it was hope for an outcome rather than just simply a state of being, and knowing and understanding that in any situation we find ourselves in or any experience, there is always that undercurrent of hope for renewal, hope for the unfolding, hope for, for a way through, and or a way to shift our mindset while we're in it. I think for me, that's what that word has become more about. When you posted earlier today, there was a meme that you shared about about hope and about our show. And there's a verse in Hebrews 11, chapter 1, or verse 1, sorry, chapter 11, verse 1. And it talks about, faith is the foundation, the confidence of hope yet unseen. And hope, again, being that knowledge that there is new around the corner, that something is going on in a situation or in a relationship or in an event that is manifesting for our highest and our best. And that's kind of how I view hope now at this point. And like to, I try not to really get stuck in hooking on an actual outcome, because in these situations, the outcomes are always far better and way different than I could have even dreamed up or imagined. And I think what's really helped me in that too is having the knowledge and the awareness that in any situation that I am in or experience, I know that there is always a higher purpose, a higher reason, and that spirit is doing something in my life, something for me and something for the other individuals in that experience or for the collective good that is necessary for me to be going through whatever that is.
Right. And I think that's the piece that is important for people to hear too, is that while we're going through it, we don't want to take away from or dismiss the negative feelings or the process that we have to go through, because I think that what I noticed is, for me, I was very black and white before. It was like, well, I'm either hopeful or I'm not hopeful.
Yeah.
Now I can truly say that I'm just hopeful. But, when I'm in a space where I'm working through something, or I'm not feeling well or feeling negative or whatever, at the same time that I'm experiencing that, I am also hopeful.
Yeah.
So, and so that's the difference. It's not just, okay, well, I have hope or I don't have hope.
Right.
You can actually have that, what you would label as a negative feeling or negative experience going on at the same time that you're very confident in the fact that this is going to unfold in your highest and best good. Like now, when I get sick and I have cycles of kind of being down, I no longer have those feelings of, oh my gosh, am I going to get through this? Am I going to get worse? Is this going to go on? Instead, my thought is, oh wow, I can't wait to see what's on the other side, because I know that I'm being knocked down for a reason. Sometimes I can figure out that reason and sometimes I can't. But it's like, all right, even if I don't know the answer to this, or I don't know this reason, I do know that, I've got good stuff coming. And if I'm really knocked down, then I know that what's coming is going to be even more exciting.
Major shift, right? Yeah. It's like that meme that says, we have, to this point, we have successfully 100% lived through any and every bad day we've had to this point, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way that I approach it as well, is knowing, just having kind of been brought to a place where it's interesting and curious to watch how it unfolds. Yesterday, I had a Facebook memory pop up from 3 years ago, and it was a quote from Rainer Marie Rilke. I hope I'm doing that. And it talks about really honestly embracing the unresolved parts of your heart, those questions that we ask that we don't have the answers to in the moment, and simply just sitting with them and allowing them to be unanswered and unresolved, unsolved for that moment, but knowing that there is going to come a day where it will unfold and we'll have those answers, and that's part of faith too. That's that's what that verse is talking about too, is we don't have all the answers on this side of our human existence, right? Some things we do get to have a little bit of resolution, but I honestly too believe that even in the things that there are parts of it revealed, there's a whole realm of other things that will be revealed that we will have even more clarity on as to why was that an experience that came to me, or an experience that I was a part of, and we'll see all the puzzle pieces, like that movie Memento. You watch the movie in reverse, right? And it starts with the ending, and then it brings you all back to the beginning. And the ending is only because of all of those other pieces and parts that happened to begin with. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's our human viewpoint. We've talked before about, looking at our lives like a tapestry, and sometimes we want to pull those pieces out, the threads that maybe look ugly, or it's not a great color or whatever. But if we start to pull those out, we're pulling on the beauty and the threads that are valuable and are gorgeous, and we disrupt the whole pattern, and we're looking at our life from underneath the pattern, where we see all of the frayed ends and the knots, and this, but we don't see the stitching, the beautiful stitching on the top, and one day we will.
Yeah, very similar to that exercise that we did in Evolving Woman today, which is my paid membership group, and really taking all of these memories or situations or energy that we've put out there, and feel like, oh, I gave too much energy to that, or I gave too much emotion to that. And how do I kind of bring that back to myself, and kind of visualizing these threads that you're able to, kind of bring back to you and fuel your power and activate your power, because it's what makes you you and uniquely you, and why certain people are drawn to you and not to me, and vice versa, because we all have a unique blueprint, Mm-hmm. So what you were saying earlier was exactly where I was going to go, which is that that hope is faith. That's exactly what it is. I mean, I truly think, hope equals faith. And
I think so too.
Even if you struggle with faith, right? You struggle with trusting and fully surrendering. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter. I mean, sure, it benefits you, but at the end of the day, the most important part of hope is that you are intentionally choosing to be in that vibration, right? You're choosing to say, I'm going to rise to that. So even though I'm sitting here freaking out about this global pandemic, or losing my job, or not having enough money, or my family's making me crazy, or what have you, and fears or negative emotions, just fast forward yourself, fast forward your brain to, what is it that I'm looking forward to? What can I get excited about? Because what you're doing is you're saying, I know there's something on the other side of this. Yes. I know this is temporary. It's funny, because that was my mantra for a very long time, was this is temporary. This too shall pass. This is temporary. This is temporary. And it's so followed the pattern that I always tell my clients it follows, which is that, I did the affirmations first, which was, changing your behavior is step one. Then my thoughts followed, and they started to become more automatic, with really sinking into that feeling that it's temporary. In the past, everything's temporary.
Everything.
Yeah.
Viktor Frankl, right? Mm-hmm. We love him. Holocaust survivor. He wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. And, his example, I love Anne Frank too, those inspirational individuals who went through some pretty horrific stuff. But one of the messages that came out of that is that hope springs eternal. It is always there. And, when in my younger viewpoint of faith, if you will, hope, was like we said earlier at the top of the show, was that it was always tied to a specific thing that I envisioned, that I wanted and believed would make my life better, would make me better, would make me feel better, would something, fill in that blank. Now it's a state that I am just really cognizant of staying in that awareness of, I take note of maybe outcomes that I would like, but I leave the possibility open. And I always ask Source, God, Spirit, to have its way, because they're seeing from a bigger vantage point than I am. They know exactly what is going on in a broader scheme of things. And if something doesn't materialize, maybe in the vision that I had or at all, or if a door is closed, then I understand that door could open with a different person on the other side of it, or a different opportunity on the other side of it, or I was being protected from that scenario, that looked like it was materializing, and redirected toward where I needed to head, where I was meant to be. And so I think, growing in this spiritual practice, right, of simply allowing what is to be,
right,
and watching and kind of waiting for things to unfold, has kept me from getting ahead of myself. And I was very impatient and impetuous when I was younger. I still work on patience, but when these events or situations don't materialize like I thought they would, or something comes to an abrupt halt, that it was a relationship that I thought was going well, it's not that it doesn't still impact me or cause me to go, what the hey,
right.
But I have that deeper sense and knowledge of, okay, well, there's a reason behind this, and it'll be revealed to me if I need to know it. Otherwise, I'm being protected and kept from something, or my interaction with them and lessons with them and their lessons with me have come to an end, and it's time to move on.
Right. And that's why I think it's so critical to separate hope and expectation. And I think, that's why I think that's something that I'd really like you guys to be able to take from today, is that idea that, I'm allowed to hope for something without being attached to the outcome, so that, I'm not going to feel that sense of disappointment, because what I know and trust and have faith in, we were talking about faith a little earlier, is that whatever it is that I'm hoping for, I am putting that vibration out there to call it in. So whatever form that comes in, I mean, this is classic manifestation stuff, whatever form that comes back to me, I don't have expectations in terms of what form that comes back to me.
Yeah.
You can daydream and fantasize and be like, oh, wow, I would love it to be this, prince on his white horse, like sweeping me off and, maybe getting my hair done, because I kind of need that.
I know. I'll fly out there.
Yeah. I mean, it really just needs to happen. Put your life at risk. My hair is really important.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I mean, even if that's the case, and I want to fantasize about that and dream and all of that, great, do it, because that's using your imagination and your creativity. It's building your intuition, and you're connecting to that vibration. But don't get attached to it. Don't be like, oh my gosh, I just manifested this guy on his white horse, and that hasn't come, and it's been 20 years. So what the hell's wrong with the universe? Okay,
exactly.
Do you feel the same way? Do you feel the same way? And I think that's where hope can serve us.
Yeah.
To know that there's something out there that's bigger and better than we imagined, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But also just really giving us access to the vibration that we want to call into our lives.
100%. And, we know that the mind doesn't have an awareness of it. It doesn't, it doesn't have an awareness of an event that is happening in what we say reality or real time versus what's happening in our imagination. It's all the same. It's how we get caught up in watching movies and we can get emotional and we feel as though it's happening to us. It's how we get caught up when we're dreaming and we, feel terrorized and we wake up in a nightmare screaming or whatever, right? Our mind has no real sense of a part of reality and imagination. And so that's where we're directed to, into the feeling of what that is that we're searching for or would love to enjoy if that event were happening to us in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not even necessarily about having that event, it's about the feelings of it and the appreciation of the feelings of it. And raising our energy toward it. Yeah.
Well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, just reiterate that, even, okay, so for you and I, we've known each other going on almost 2 years now, right? Mm-hmm. 2 years. No, almost 3. Wasn't it 2017 when we? Yeah. So, gosh, a long time, but even we felt like we knew each other longer than that. But our lives have shifted so much since then. But I can remember conversations that we would have, early on in, what some of the directions that we wanted to head or, things that we wanted to materialize. And a lot of that has transpired for us, but in miraculous ways that we really didn't even see coming. And it maybe even looks a lot different than what the vision was that we had in our minds back then, and it's unfolding. I mean, now you and I, we've materialized the opportunity that we're going to be published authors soon. I mean,
friends, published authors,
authors, you guys. And it's incredible to be counted among other, experts in their field, other healing experts and wellness experts. And I sit back and I am just in awe of all of it all the time. And I think that that's a big key too, is for us to just, right, to be amazed at how it unfolds and just see it as an amazing gift rather than going, well, that's not how I wanted it to be. Well, holy shit, stuff is happening so much more than I never thought that I would say my name and published author afterwards, ever. So it's incredible then, I think, when we are in that spirit of appreciation and gratitude of it and just simply allowing it to unfold the way that it will, like you said, not attaching to the outcome of what it looks like. We can go through the experience of it in our mind. Mm-hmm. How it helps us manifest, and imagine yourself writing the words on the page or standing up, if you want to give a talk or something like that, speaking to, a bunch of people or whatever that might be, or manifesting a new house for yourself. What does it look like? What do the rooms feel like going through it? Mm-hmm. But then detaching from it has to look this way. It's got to be at this location at this point in time. Right. And surrendering it. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny because I was thinking about this idea that Deepak was talking about in one of his teachings during this, what's it called? Meditation challenge that he's doing.
Yes.
And he, in a similar way, to what we're talking about with hope and with calling that into us, right? And not being attached to specifics in the concrete. The same thing goes with fear. And there's a lot of people who are sitting in fear right now. Yeah. And that when we fear something, we are expecting it.
Yes.
We're expecting it to unfold in our lives, mm-hmm. And we're calling it to us when we fear it, So I actually had this exercise come to me after I did that meditation that day, And I thought it was very helpful. Do you want me to tell everybody what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
So it kind of took this idea of like fear. So it's a journaling exercise, okay?
Yep.
So I don't know if you have paper now, Raelin. I know you didn't have any earlier today. But
I have scraps in my drawer.
So everybody get out a pen and paper because we're going to do an exercise, okay? So this is a journaling exercise because I think it's really important for you guys to know, like, how can I integrate this into my life? Like, how can I actually practice some of this? Okay, I have a couple ideas in mind, but this one, I'm going to call it the FEHA challenge, okay? Because that's the mnemonic device.
FEHA?
This is going to be FEHA. F-E-H-A. Yeah, I'm making that up, okay? So this is what we're going to write down. So on a piece of paper on the left-hand side, write F-E-H-A. That's my FEHA, okay?
At the top or down the column?
I typed it into the comments. Like on the left, like you're making a poem with it almost.
Down.
Yeah. Because this is going to help you remember, okay? It's going to help you remember the order this stuff goes in. All right. So this is the FEHA. We've got to think of a new way of saying that. It's not at all suave in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's not.
So I'm not making this fancy, guys, but it is going to be productive. So this is what you're going to do. Next to the F, that obviously stands for fear.
Okay.
Not the F word, even though you would expect that from me on a regular day.
Yeah.
So what you're going to write down is, I fear, and then fill in the blank.
Okay.
And then the E stands for expectations. So you're going to write, I expect, and then you're going to fill in the blank with the exact same thing that you wrote in the first blank that you answered the I fear prompt with. And then the H stands for hope. So what I want you to write down is, I hope blank. I hope for. And you don't have to write the exact same thing. You can tweak it a little bit if you want to. But it's going to be kind of surrounding the same theme, right? Because this is building on one another. And then the A is I am. So you're going to write I am and fill in the blank. So if I said, like, I fear getting coronavirus. I expect to get coronavirus. I hope to remain healthy. I am healthy, or I am remaining healthy.
Okay, so the hope then changes the first two.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. The hope kind of, that's your catalyst for change. So it kind of shifts it, right? It takes your fear and your expectations, right? Which are linked.
Yeah.
And
totally.
they're one and the same.
Yeah.
And it shifts, and it's saying, okay, now we're going to shift from expectation to hope. And now I'm going to speak it into existence with the I am. What are your thoughts about this?
I like it. It's a weird acronym, but I like it.
What else can come up? I got to play with that acronym.
Yeah. But I do like I like the direction you're taking it. Yeah, I like that a lot. You know, the I am statements are very powerful, right?
Right.
And whatever we focus our energy on and our intention and attention upon, you know, we create that. And I've worked with so many people, and I've seen it happen in my own life when I am obsessed about something, you know, and it could be put a label on it as you will, but wherever we put our attention toward is, you know, where things happen. I talk about the biggest one is moving here to Arizona. It's something that happened in the recent past, 3 years ago. We knew that we were going to be moving. It was Arizona or Texas, and materialized it. And I didn't know how. I kept asking, well, financially, how is this going to happen? And it all just kind of fell into place. And we're here now, you know? And so I know that when there's times, you know, my husband will say something or I'll say something, I'm like, I better be careful about what I say, because where I put my energy, you know, stuff is going to flow that direction. So I like it. It's a good exercise to build awareness and to really see, what is it that I am fearing? And is that fear really actually real? I love fear is false evidence appearing real, or face everything and rise. You know, either one is appropriate. And so I like that. I do. I like that.
I really liked it too. I felt like it was really effective for me, because you're able to, because like you said, it raises your awareness. Your awareness of, you know, what are my obstacles to hope? What are my obstacles to saying that I am statement and speaking something into existence? So there's your fear and your expectations, and your expectations are directly channeled from your fear. So because it raises that awareness, and it also creates a shift. It's like a practice transmutation. That's what it is. You're taking that fear or that crappy energy or whatever it is, and you're transmuting it by shifting your beliefs and speaking them into existence. So I will come up with a prettier name, maybe at some point. Right now, this is my Fiha, which is, I mean, I think it's ridiculous enough that I'll remember it. And
people will too.
Yeah. And I thank my mother for always creating mnemonic devices and songs for absolutely everything I studied in high school, because it's really her fault, and I'm thanking her for it now.
Yeah, I love it.
So that was one piece. And the other thing that came from this Deepak Hope series that I've been following is, I think it was day 8. It was the mantra that day. And it was, I trust in my life because I trust myself.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that so much. I was like, that is a mantra that, I mean, I've literally been repeating it since I did that meditation. I trust my life because I trust myself. And so that's that idea of surrendering that you were talking about earlier, you know, and it's partially surrendering. Okay. So we have like hope equals faith. Okay. So we want to trust that, we hope, and we know, we have this inner knowing that things are going to unfold in my best, highest, and best good, you know, based on this hope and this faith that the universe is going to take care of me. So we have that.
It was day 9. How to truly trust in yourself. I trust in life because I trust myself. Om Him Harim. My reality is pure intelligence and wholeness. Yeah, I loved that one too.
And that wholeness, that idea of wholeness. And that's why I like this my Fiha, because it does incorporate that wholeness. You're just saying, I have some fear, I have some expectations and outdated beliefs, but I also have hope, and I also stand solidly in who I am. So it's like it encapsulates that wholeness for us. You know what I mean? But that I trust in my life because I trust myself. So we talk about the surrender piece of hope and the faith piece of hope. But then we also talk about the fact that there's also just, I mean, you could say faith in yourself, right? With that statement. Like, if I can rely on myself as a foundation, then I'm not necessarily surrendering to the universe. I'm just relying on and trusting entirely that my wholeness is unfolding, that it will continue to unfold, and that all of these little puzzle pieces I'm grabbing along the way are going to fit together nicely for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Wait, say that one more time.
Yeah, I knew you were like focused on. So
because I was looking to share the photo in the comments. I'm sorry, friend.
Oh, I have the photo screenshotted, so I'll just add it later.
Perfect. Okay.
Done.
All right.
I trust in my life. Yeah. So the other piece is that we don't just have to like look at faith and surrender as what hope is. You know, that is one piece of it, I think. But the other piece is relying on ourselves and having faith in that full, complete trust in ourselves, and that our wholeness is always unfolding.
Yeah.
And that step along the way is a puzzle piece, whether we label it as a negative one or a neutral one or a positive one,
yes,
that's into that wholeness, and that that trust and reliance on that has to do with ourselves. And yes, we're first, so technically it has to do with the universe. But you guys need like a tangible foundation. Use yourselves.
100%. I think that it probably could not be said often enough. You know, we hear so much, we believe the messaging that except for X, fill in whatever that X is for you, I'm not whole, I'm not complete. And I have to say that one thing, well, another thing that I've learned along the way is that I am complete. I, in and of myself, am complete. And I've said before too, that goes along with, there's no purpose outside of myself that I must be involved in. I am purpose. So whatever flows through me and excites my creativity, connects with me, brings bliss, brings flow in my life, that is purpose. And so the realization that we are whole and we are complete in any and all contrasting events and circumstances in our lives, then that really for me has just changed the ball game, you know, to my perceived awareness of it, my interpretation of it. You know, when we can shift that mindset, then we can see that even if we don't understand maybe all of the inner workings of it, but we know then that whatever we are faced with, whatever we are experiencing in this moment, you know, within this pandemic globally and also personally and privately in our lives because of it, it is showing up for us and it is for us.
Yeah, and that's what you were talking about earlier. You talked about presence, about the present moment.
Yes.
Being able to sink into that present moment. And like when we talk about relying on yourselves and using the tangible you as a foundation and all of that. And, you know, it's about being able to, you know, really stay in the moment with what it is you're seeing, feeling, hearing, tasting, sensing, whatever, you know, and being mindful. And I know that the actionforhappiness.org has calendars every month. And we did one Room for Healing, which is my free private Facebook group, where every day we went through that mindfulness practice. And it was so helpful for me because, you know, it takes 21 days to make a habit. And if you guys have been following me, you're probably really sick of hearing me say that, but I really would like to drill it into your brain so that it comes up naturally for you. Because I mean, I consider myself a pretty mindful person, but after doing that challenge, my mindfulness just went up because I was able to, like, I mean, not really get creative, but use other people's creativity to get creative from their ideas to find different ways that I can attend to myself, that I can stay mindful and stay in the present moment, because at that time we're accepting everything that's occurring around us in that moment. And that really allows us to feel that feeling of wholeness. You know, like I always tell people to really incorporate as many of your five senses as possible, especially like before you're going into meditation, because then you're also activating your higher self, your third eye, and you're bringing in your energetic body. So it's like you're really combining the two and saying, now I am fully whole. You know, I'm encapsulating all of this. And it's funny because while you were just talking, I also thought about the fact that when I used to think that hope was a really dangerous emotion because I felt like it was a setup. I felt like it was setting me up to get smacked in the face, knocked down, or whatever. And that's because I was in victim mentality.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's something that's really important for you guys to see too, is have those statements going through your mind or saying out loud of, oh, poor me, or I've been dealt a rough hand, or, you know, it always happens to me, or whatever. I mean, that is you placing, here we go, talk about fear, expectation, hope, you know, putting that into that exercise is very productive, because you're really, when you're in that mentality, you're calling in more of that, and you're expecting shit to go wrong.
Yes, I lived most of my early life with feeling as though the other shoe was going to drop at any time.
Yeah.
And it very frequently did, but I didn't have the awareness or the understanding of the fact that that was because that's what I was expecting. That's what I was sending my energy to. You know, when we live in traumatic situations or where in our early conditioning or whatever, you know, we hear different messages, right? And when you're in an anxious situation anyway, our our mind, because of our stress response and the hormones that are rushing through and all of the biological processes going on, cannot focus those areas of our brain that are centered on solution oriented decision making, logic and reasoning, go offline, if you will. They don't function. And it's difficult for them to come online when you're in a heightened state of stress response. And if you are in constant chronic anxiety, you're probably making some poor decisions. So the way to do that, to get out of that, is to take those pauses and, like you said, have these moments of mindfulness, breathe our way out of that stress, literally slowing our breathing and attending to that. Then it will give us moments of clarity and deeper awareness, and suddenly it feels as though there's a solution that's popped out of the blue. That solution has probably already always been there. It's just our noticing of it, our awareness of it, right? Our seeing it for the first time. But the reality is it's always been there. We just always look at whatever it is that we're emotionally tied to. Like you said, if we're emotionally tied to stress and anxiousness and anxiety, and like you said, the feeling of being set up or the feeling of unlucky or being in that victim mentality, we're going to notice everything that affirms that for us in our life.
Exactly. And that's why I was even saying, like, I was thinking, can't remember if I said it out loud, when you were talking about hope earlier, you know, that idea that we're also going to be able to see what comes into our reality and see that what we've been manifesting or putting out there is in the past, if we're looking for it. You know, if we're looking for it. So you've got to look for it. You got to focus on the right things.
Yes.
Right or wrong, whatever. But focus on the things that raise your vibration. And, you know, I'm actually going to be doing a masterclass, like an event with Kara Melendi next Tuesday, for a week from today at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be teaching you guys energy techniques for how to ground, how to maintain your vibration. So, you know, take the exercise that we talked about today and definitely apply it in some of these mindfulness tools and things like that. But also, if you still feel like I'm a little shaky or whatever, please feel free to join us. It's a free event, you know, on Emerge Healing and Wellness. And that's something that you can refer back to too if you need to, like, have somebody guide you through tools, because some stuff, you know, I want everybody in the comments to raise your hand if you've ever thought that hope is a dangerous emotion. Let us know if you have struggled with that, or if you're currently struggling with hope. You know, and if so, what are the obstacles in your way? Because those are things that we can also kind of guide you on or help you move through. I'm going to grab a card deck, Raelin, because I keep getting told to do that. So
I love too that you were talking earlier and you took us through that acronym, because one of the things that I love working with people on too is we first have to notice, we first have to become aware of what it is that our thinking is speaking to us, and what it is that we're believing about it, about the thoughts that are coming into our mind. So writing that down is huge. And then the other piece is to shift that, is to then rewrite it, reframe it in a more productive, a more hope-filled, like you said, a more open viewpoint, a viewpoint that invites in possibility rather than restriction or, limitation, right? And when we begin to take an awareness of our thinking and certain patterned words that come up, and then we become intentional about changing that and reframing and restating something in a more positive, hope-filled way, then when we're in a moment and we're starting to say something, maybe we're starting to vent and talk about, oh, this is happening again, and da 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 da, we can catch ourselves then more quickly. And when we bring intentionality to how we speak, that helps shift our energy and helps shift our mindset too. I love too the class that you and Kara are doing, because I agree with it. Everybody wants to, not everybody, a lot of people talk, especially in spiritual circles, about protecting your energy. Oh, you have to protect your energy. How do I protect my energy? How do I create this? When we recognize the full power of who we are as the divine living within us and having this human experience, there is nothing to protect us from.
Correct.
It is simply owning our presence and being who we are and generating out, like radiating out who and what we are on that level. And there is nothing to protect from. Right?
Do you want to know the card that I just pulled while you were saying that?
What?
So, friends, this is from the Power Thought Cards deck by Louise Hay.
I love that deck.
I accept my uniqueness. Basically, everything you were just saying. And it says, there is no competition and no comparison.
Yeah.
For we are all different and we are meant to be that way. I am special and wonderful. I love myself.
Yes. Yes.
But this is, I think, the most important part of what we've been talking about here is I accept my uniqueness. How cool is that?
So cool.
And the color is like root and sacral. So we have like this is a very grounding chakra, a very grounding affirmation.
It is.
And it really connects you to your creativity, to your safety, to your security, to this, what we were talking about earlier with finding the foundation within yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And being able to shift your beliefs and creating this, using this if you didn't get anything out of the exercise we did earlier, or you feel like, oh, this sounds good to me. I accept my uniqueness. The other one is I'm going to be posting in the comments later with the image from the meditation challenge of I trust in life because I trust myself, and really going back into that.
I used to hold the belief, I have my sacred empowerment cards with me too. I'll share some.
Okay.
But I used to hold the belief, let me get back on camera. I used to hold the belief that I wouldn't try, and I say try in air quotes, and I'll tell you why. But I wouldn't try something unless I knew for certain that I could do it well and succeed at it or not look like an idiot. So what I know now is that there is no try, right? Just like Yoda says, there is no try, only do. I always tell people, take a pen in your hand and try to take it out of your hand. Well, I'm not trying to take it out of my hand. I'm literally stopping myself from taking it out of my hand. I can only take it out of my hand or leave it in my hand. Try doesn't exist. Try is a construct to keep us stuck and static where we are. It is,
and it's funny because
we argue for.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I love that you said that too, because I think it's important for people to know that if you had said that to me 4 years ago, I would have been pissy, I'm like, it would have felt to me,
I have done that.
It would have felt to me like I was having to be in action, in forward motion all of the time. And that would have felt like pressure to me. Right. You know, like, oh, I just have to do stuff. Like, I just have to take action all the time. But what I want you guys to realize is when you think you're trying, you're actually taking action, right? So I have a goal that's over here, and I only take action that's like that. That's not me trying to get there. That is me taking action to get there. So, you know, you still want to honor and show compassion for that. Just because you're not jumping and leaping all the way to the finish line doesn't mean that you're not taking action.
Right. And same thing, you know, choosing or not choosing to do something or to make a decision is still a decision. You've decided not to decide. That's still a decision. So like you just said, that's still an action that you're taking. Yeah. And it's when I started to learn that and really kind of open my, you know, studying NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and how we talk, the words that we say really matters and creates symbols in our mind and beliefs, right? And thought processes that really started to get me noticing then where I was staying stuck and arguing for limitations, or simply just saying, I don't want to do that.
Right.
So let's just be real and say, you don't want to do it. It's much better if you say that. It's much more freeing, because in those moments when I would give myself the permission to say, I don't want to do it, then I actually, the honesty created within me, well, okay, so why is it that I don't want to do it? And is there a possibility that maybe I do want to do it? I'm just afraid.
Yeah.
And then it brings us back to the FEHA.
The FEHA.
The FEHA, the fear, expectation, hope, and
I am.
And I am, yes.
I have one more card, and then we're done with my cards.
Okay.
The Wild Offering Oracle deck by Tom Silver. Okay.
Yeah, she's good.
And I love Ganesha. I mean, you guys can probably see it on my wall, and you know, maybe not today. Yeah, there he is. Yeah. But anyway, so it says loneliness. When you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve.
Yeah.
May I embrace and love my solitude, and that's when kindred spirits can finally come.
Yeah. Oh. Woo. Yeah.
Well, but that idea of going back to yourself, you know, relying on yourself, embracing the time with yourself, because that is something that a lot of people avoid and fear, is sitting with themselves and with their own thoughts. Then with your, you know, and that's what I hear from a lot of clients right now is I have a lot of time to think, and it's not a good thing, you know, because they're sitting around and stewing and all of this fear. And then you got to use your FEHA. See?
And you got to use the FEHA. It's all about the FEHA. Well, kind of tapping into that card then is the Sacred Empowerment deck. I love this deck. No one knows my soul as well as I do. I give myself permission to walk my own path and follow my own heart. Right after I had said, when I am honest about saying, no, I don't want to do that, or saying no to something, it opens up my world. It opens up my experience, and it gives me permission. And then the next card is, I'm writing a new story. I'm writing a new story. And we've been talking about that this whole time. And you and I, we talk about this a lot, but this kind of goes with our conversation. Where is my camera? I allow destruction to make space for creation.
Yes. Beautiful. Yes.
Right?
That's what hope is, my friends.
Yeah. You know what? You're right, because it does. You know, our current, okay, here come the thoughts. Here's the download. We're in a situation. We're in this event. We're in this experience, and our current world paradigm is being destroyed, and everything that we had known prior to, and our perceived safety, right, and our sense of comfort and our movements, and you know how life was looking for all of us, is being destroyed. and it's being rebuilt. We are writing a new story, but the destruction is making space for new creation, a new life. And if we give ourselves permission to walk our path and follow our heart, then we are in alignment with our soul.
Yes. Rebecca, what do you want us to say again? She said, say that again.
Yeah, which one?
Probably be some quote that like one of us said that we don't remember.
What was that quote you said yesterday or Sunday in the journaling group? I did.
It was,
I thought about it this morning too. I have chills. Yes, preach it. Yeah.
Well, we're preaching, baby. We're preaching.
We are. We're getting ready. We're getting amped now. Let's see. Wowza. Thank you. Amen.
What did we say?
What did we say? Wowza.
It was probably a Sacred Empowerment card because that's a freaking awesome deck.
It's an awesome deck, but it tied in with exactly the other two cards that you shared, and just I love how it just brought all of it, into existence. But what did you say on Sunday? I just thought of it this morning. It was so amazing, and it's appropriate for this. I know it is.
It was something about control and forwarding our agenda. I can't remember what it was.
Dang it. Yeah, no. Sherry, it does kind of.
You gotta remember this. It was like, I don't know. We'll find it on the chat and then we can post it later.
Yeah, it was pretty profound. It was incredible. Had everything to do with our perception of control, but what actually, is accepting responsibility. Yes. Oh, she wants us to take pictures of our cards too.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I already have mine set aside so that I can take a picture of them. And I'll post something else that we talked about. Well, I'll post the meme that I posted this morning so that you guys know what we were talking about there. Yep. And then I'll post the mantra from Deepak.
Yep.
And Oprah. So guys, anybody else want to chat? Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this sucker up?
Yeah. Any questions?
Let us know.
Yeah.
While we're waiting to see what else you guys want, I'll let you guys know where to find me. You can find me in Room for Healing. I have it's a free private Facebook group with lots of peeps who are trying to heal and trying to figure out, not try, there is only do.
Exactly.
But, accepting and appreciating this path we are on and new tools supporting each other. Yes.
Exactly. A new story.
That's the one I thought you were talking about. Writing a new story after this destruction that's causing us to have hope.
Yes. Love it. Yeah.
That's it right there, my friend. And that's where our power is too.
Yeah.
Because our power is being able to write that new story,
Well, I mean, after the cards spoke and we just tied it all in, holy cow, everybody just went, yes! I mean, the energy just went bam, 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 bam. So yeah, everything connects in amazing ways. It's interwoven. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sherry wants to know how to plug into others, or how to plug others into hope when they're freaking out.
So if I may, my humble opinion for our starting point is simply for us to hold that presence of hope ourselves, period.
Yeah.
We cannot plug other people into anything. We can't choose for others what they're not choosing for themselves. We just
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead. I say
this? Sherry. Okay, ready?
What?
This is my You Are a Badass tear off calendar. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
This is yesterday's, and this totally answers your question. I think, okay. When we agree to let ourselves down in favor of supporting the bad behavior of others, and this is what I mean, like, it's not bad behavior, but like, people who are, maybe sitting in a
when they wallow.
So they're wallowing.
Yes.
Exactly. And they're not able to see that hope or to entertain it or something like that. Right.
Yes.
So when we agree to let ourselves down in favor of supporting the bad behaviors of others, it often stems from the same impulse. We are unwilling to make other people more uncomfortable than they just made us.
Yeah.
Not terribly studly in the self-love department, is it? By making them uncomfortable, I mean declining to participate in their drama. Right. By the way, not by being equally abusive back. So of course you're not going to abuse anyone. But what I'm saying is, I think the important part of this is saying, don't decline to participate. That's the phrase that I say, like, decline to participate in their fear or their negativity. And that doesn't mean you dismiss them. You're still acknowledging them. If a toddler came up and said, Sherry, 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 you would acknowledge them, but then say, you know what, I'll get to you in a minute or whatever, and then continue to model your poison. And my favorite phrase is always, I'm really sorry you feel that way. And I'm absolutely here and open to whenever you're ready to move forward, and just holding that space for them to kind of come to you in their own time.
Yeah, because if we lower ourselves to their frequency, to their vibration in the moment, how does that help anybody? It's the same when we're told on an airplane, we're to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first in a moment of crisis and emergency. And then we can be of better and effective help for other people because number one, we're alive and we're breathing. So hello. Tend to your own needs. We need to tend to our own side of the fence in order to be an effective help or model or point of inspiration for other people. There's no need for us to get caught up in their drama. If you don't have a life vest on and you go rushing out into, it's draining. It is draining. If you go rushing out into their flailing about in the water, you're going to get sucked under and drown yourself. So make sure you have your life vest on and that you're taken care of. You can put a rope out there. You can model the behavior, but you cannot make anybody else do it for themselves. No one makes us, no one plugs us into the spiritual path. Right. We come at it, every single one of us comes at it ourselves, right? Spirit draws us. We're called to it. We respond, but it is our spirit works when we give that tacit agreement of, yes, this needs to change. I am open to it. And we cannot create that agreement for anybody else. They must come to the end of themselves.
Right. And like I just said, I just wrote back to Sherry and said, you first, then them. Always choose your energy first, because by choosing your own energy, you are choosing theirs as well, because you're going to radiate that out. You're going to embody that. Not only are you modeling it, but you're also sharing energy with them. So they're going to benefit from your heightened vibration. It's you that really needs to choose, all right, how do I maintain this? Again, you can go to the masterclass next Tuesday, but how do I maintain this so that, I'm able to engage with this person, but not, fall on my face? Can I cross them in the head and drag them to the shore? Absolutely. Yeah.
Please don't. Then we're just dragging them.
Then that's going to wear you down. I mean, listen, if you can put them in something with wheels so that it really doesn't take much effort, then fine. All right. So I have one more You Are a Badass to read. Can I read one more?
Yeah.
I think this is so perfect based on what we have been doing today. In order to change your life and start living a new one that you've never lived before, your faith in miracles and yourself must be greater than your fear. So, and I love that idea of faith in miracles, especially right now. However easy or rough, you have to be willing to fall down, get up, look stupid, cry, laugh, make a mess, clean it up, and not stop until you get there. But that idea of, really believing that miracles can occur, not only in this current situation, but in any area of fear, and those things that you hope for, and what is the reason that we wouldn't like hope? Because we fear that it's not going to happen, or we fear that we're going to get disappointed, right? And that doesn't serve us to make decisions out of fear or anxiety or guilt, you know?
Right. Not at all. Yeah. Love it.
So
Love
Ray, can you tell people where to find you, my friend?
Yeah. So Raelin Saindon, of course, you can look me up by my name on Facebook, but I also have a free group called Connected Empowerment. And I'll share the link in there too. Laura is also a member of that. And then I have, of course, my business page, The Healing Space. And I'm going to be doing Laura and I are going to be developing some classes. Yes, thank you, RaelinSaindon.com. Thank you. We're going to be doing some classes together. We're going to kind of probably start at, the beginning, the foundation of what the spiritual path, looks like and how we can navigate it and all of that and increase our understanding and awareness. So that's coming. Right now,
really shifting.
Yep, shifting mindsets. But I'm going to be offering, I don't know if it'll be this Friday. We'll set the announcement. It'll be either this Friday or next in Room for Healing. I'll be doing a masterclass on inner child work and exploring that, because a lot of that is coming up for everyone right now. Yes. So it's a passion project of mine. So I love that. Thank you.
Great. No, you're welcome. And I'm excited because this is something that I know a lot of my clients too are needing right now. It's like, that's what's on the agenda for the next session for a lot of my patients is like inner child work. Yeah. So I know it's very much needed. And right now, I think we all just need an extra level of compassion, TLC, and patience, and that play, and that's what that kind of work helps us do. So that's great. So so you guys can find me in Room for Healing. Obviously, Emerge Healing and Wellness is my business page. My website is theakashictherapist.com. And what was I going to say? Oh, I just started a course called Activate. And that is an opportunity to really activate your passion-driven self, right? That passionate part of you that's kind of covered up by outdated conditioning or any issues that have been carried through from past lives or ancestral healing or your current life. And we're going to clear all of that. It's involving a lot of Akashic record work, people really learning how to use the records, and then clearing some of this outdated stuff, like the past life energy that we're carrying. What I would say is this is really for somebody who's already started their healing journey and feel like they keep having patterns and cycles come up for them that no matter how hard they work on it, it just keeps returning, to really kick that in the ass and be able to move forward.
Like Pima Chodron shares with us, what we resist persists.
Yes, exactly. So let us know. Feel free to reach out to us privately if you want to connect with either of us individually or if you just have questions. Obviously continue to place comments here if you're on the replay, especially if you guys need any kind of personal attention or support. Okay. And then we'll see you soon. We'll see you very soon.
Very soon. Like next week soon.
Yeah, next week soon. All right. You're welcome.
What is it? Lord willing and the creek don't rise.
I don't even know. I don't know. All the sayings, my friend. All the sayings.
I hung out with my grandma all the time.
Oh, well, there you go.
I learned all those old things.
So, guys, go work your fiha, okay? Go work it.
Yeah.
It's a little dirty, but,
Massage the fihas.
Massage the fiha. All right, guys, on that note, have a good week. We'll talk to you. Bye. Thanks for being here, friends.
Bye.